You're listening to The Martin Houston Show on Tide 100.9 in Tuscaloosa. Tide 100.9 app.
Alabama 1st and 10 on the 12. Again, Houston. He's got a hole. He's over. Alabama touchdown.
I'm just wondering if your listeners know how good a football player you were. I can still see you playing that fullback, knocking those players out of the way. And I believe I could have run behind you.
Martin, I can remember when we came to center and you were playing fullback up there. And I saw you in the weight room and watched you work out in the weight room. If you were strong enough to pick up the whole weight room. I wanted to pick you, and our running back coach didn't take the pass. biggest mistake we ever made.
The Martin Houston Show with national championship winning fullback Martin Houston, giving you 1 hour of intense, hard-hitting analysis from an insider's perspective. It's time for the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Good morning. Welcome to this Thursday edition of the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier. Oh, man, we're 2 days away from you can't call it the game of the century. Is it the game of the decade? Because, Alabama versus LSU in 2011 was the game of the century. Well, it looks like Alabama's going to keep having these type of games. So I'm going to call it the game of the decade. But as we get into today's show, we have some recruiting news. Alabama might be setting a record for the number of recruits that will be at this game on Saturday. Even though we got one big recruit that I know Pat's going to want to talk about that unfortunately won't be able to make it due to this hurricane weather that the Alabama and Georgia is currently experiencing. We have player and position comparisons today, as well as an interesting story coming out of UNLV with NIL and how this is changing the game in college football. So kick it over to you before we get deep into it.
All right. Welcome into the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier, once again, powered by Box Eye Care. We do it each and every day, Monday through Friday from 6 to 7 a.m. And we can't do it and don't want to do it without you. So join us on the Empowerment Strategies and Solutions Hotline, 205-342-9904, 205-342-9904. That's the Empowerment Strategy and Solutions Hotline. Visit empowermentstrategy.com. That's empowerment spelled with an M, not E. Empowermentstrategy.com, 205-342-9904. And, of course, we welcome all of those of you who join us on the live stream on chat and Facebook, YouTube, etc. Good morning. Already seeing Bam 72 and Curtis up there. Need to make sure I get you guys scores on the Alabama Legacy Collection score prediction contest, with Georgia total yards being the total. So let me hear from you. Also, as X said, interesting stories. The UNLV QB story is really an interesting story that we need to break down and talk about how it's impacting. I do want to send out a note for those of you who listen to the morning show and normally join us on Thursday night. We will not have a high school show tonight due to the station broadcasting your lovely Dallas Cowboys. For those of you who are still fans, that was my team growing up, man. But I kind of fell off the wagon when they got rid of Tom Landry and Jerry Jones came in, and I've tried to get back with them, but I just haven't been able to. Still like the Steelers. It had a little stint with them, but I don't necessarily have a favorite NFL team. But anyway, remember that this is the day that the Lord has made, so let's rejoice and be glad in it. Take some time today to notice someone, love someone, serve someone, be the difference you want to see in the world today. All right, X, toss it back to you for a little bit of recruiting news.
Oh, man, it's been a while since we've really been able to deep dive into recruiting. And, you know, Alabama versus Georgia this weekend is going to be a who's who of recruits this weekend. Alabama has a total of 18 commits that will be at this game over the next 3 classes. And, of course, that's headlined by the 5 stars, Keelan Russell, quarterback out of Duncanville, Texas, 5-star offensive lineman, Ty Haywood out of Denton, Texas, Caleb Cunningham, wide receiver out of Mississippi, Dijon Lee, 5-star cornerback out of California, and 5-star running back A.K. Deere out of Mississippi as well. And then we've got a lot more guys. Anthony Rogers, the running back out of Carver, he'll be here. And then you look at the 26th class, and that's D.B. Barney, cornerback out of Carrollton, Georgia, same high school as Caleb Odom. Then 2 27 guys, Jaboris Gar and Barack Willis, both edge guys. One, Gar out of Viger High School here in Alabama, and Barack Willis is out of Moody. Then you look at, unfortunately, Pat, Justice Terry will not be able to make the trip because of the hurricane. His game got rescheduled from Friday night to 3 p.m. on Saturday. I wonder if that was a little intentional because he is 4 hours away from Tuscaloosa, so not going to be able to make it for him. Then we do have Derek Smith, the former Alabama commit, who is now an Auburn commit, will be at the game. Ivan Taylor, who we were in a battle for this summer with Notre Dame and Michigan. He flipped from Notre Dame to Michigan. He will be at this game. Another Michigan commit, tight end Andrew Olesh, will be at this game. He's a 4-star top 100 guy. Then you've got some underclassmen in the 26 and 27 classes, and that's number 1 linebacker in the country, Tyler Atkinson out of Grayson High School in Georgia. You have Tank Jones, a 5-star edge from St. Paul's in Mobile. 4-star linebacker Xavier Griffin from Georgia, who's a USC commit, and then Cedarian Morgan out of Benjamin Russell up in the Huntsville area. He'll be at this game. So a lot of guys that'll be here, and that's just to name a few. I looked at it. It is 42 guys that will be here as of right now this weekend. There's been a couple of other sightings.
Yeah, let me ask you this: a lot of those, the big ones, were guys that's already committed. Do we see Alabama picking up any commitments? Any 2025 guys visiting that's not committed, and do we see Alabama picking up any commitments out of any classes?
When you look at a guy like, maybe not a guy that isn't currently committed, not really sure, but Derek Smith coming back for this game, I think is huge because Alabama doesn't
committed to Alabama. I don't care where else they're committed to. I'm talking about, do we see, a guy from committed to Auburn, or the guys you mentioned from Michigan? Do we see any of those guys potentially flipping?
The three big guys that I think you should keep an eye on is Derek Smith, that flipped to Auburn, Ivan Taylor, whose dad is Ike Taylor, who played for the Pittsburgh Steelers as well, and Andrew Olesh, the tight end. Those are the 3 names that I've heard that there's still a ton of interest. And then with the underclassmen, Cedarian Morgan.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Then you look at guys like Cedarian Morgan out of Benjamin Russell, Tyler Atkinson, and Tank Jones, the edge and linebackers out of Georgia and St. Paul's. I think those are the 3 names for underclassmen to keep an eye on for commits this weekend.
All right. You said something earlier, and we'll hit this in the second quarter. You had talked about this being the game of the week. The game of the century. It's clearly the game of the year, and we'll break that down and why. But I think it's Alabama's biggest game in 17 years. So in a 17-year window, I think this game. I'll tell you what I think this game does in the second quarter. Go ahead and get Pat.
All right, we've got Pat joining us on the Empowerment Strategy Solutions Hotline. How you doing this morning, Pat? What you got for me?
That Manchester, where Justice is from, is 70 miles south of Atlanta. Atlanta is projected to have power knocked out. That this storm has moved up to a Category 4, 130 plus mile an hour wind, inland in Atlanta. Could see as high as hurricane force winds in Atlanta. So it's being at Manchester so far south. I have 2 beds, a king size and a queen size, here for the Terry family to come in, and I will provide breakfast both Saturday and Sunday and Monday if they want it. But anyway, that's my NIL for Justice Terry and his family. Because it's not going to be a good place to be over in Georgia anywhere with the power knocked out. I'll be honest with y'all.
Well, I'm going to believe that they're gonna be off on this as much as they were off on it. The storm wasn't as bad as so far hasn't been as bad as projected it. And even though he won't be here, I'm praying that
yeah. And Morton, we can. I agree with prayer, buddy, but I'm gonna stop you, Pat. I don't pray with Bud. I pray and then I leave it to God. If I'm going to pray with Bud, I don't pray. So I pray what I want. I pray what I ask for, and then I leave it up to Him. So I ask Him that it will not be what it should be, and that's what I believe, and then I move on from there. You got anything else related to the? This is going to be a massive weekend. I think I am going to get up and go over early for game day. I've got my orange Home Depot hat from a previous deal, and so I'll be ready. All right, y'all have a blessed one.
Thanks, Pat. I appreciate you. I said thank you, Pat, and I appreciate you. You're always looking out for us on the weather, and I wasn't trying to be rude. If I'm gonna be a man of faith, I pray and then I move on. So ultimately, I don't put a but in there. It says a man who doubts, asks God something and then doubts, is unstable in all his ways. I try to be stable, Pat.
All right. Have a blessed morning.
Love you, man. Appreciate you, Pat. Oh, man. X, we'll get the break here. Let me thank the good folks over at North River Timber Company, LLC. I actually got to see Courtney White last night. So if you're out there listening this morning, Courtney, we appreciate your support here at the station, and we ask you to show some love and appreciation. If you have timber land or land in general, and you need land management, you need appraisals, you need timber harvesting, then the company you need to call is North River Timber Company, LLC. Courtney White, 205-242-5127, or Chase Pearson, 205-799-0665. And Courtney and Chase and their team will take care of you if you have land in West Alabama, and now they have a team in East Mississippi as well. And hey, listen, if you're out there and you're like, man, I don't have land in either one of those, you want to give them a call, hey, go ahead and give them a call and see what they can do to help you. If they can't help you, they may be able to help you get it taken care of. That's North River Timber Company, LLC. Email them at northrivertimberco@gmail.com.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. Moving with a purpose on the Tuscaloosa freeways and side streets. I only see small delays. Skyline Boulevard on the eastbound lanes to 31st Avenue. You're a little slow in that area. And also, again, right around Hargrove Road. Hargrove on the southbound lanes at Lake Point Drive. You want to watch out for very...
in Birmingham. Plus, don't miss our grand opening celebration Friday, October the 11th through Sunday, October 13th. And check us out at academy.com with free shipping on purchases over $25.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Cloudy with occasional rain across West Alabama today and tonight. The high today 76, the low tonight 63. Cloudy tomorrow, rain diminishing during the morning. Maybe a few lingering scattered showers tomorrow afternoon. The high 73. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9.
Keep it locked into Tide 100.9 for more of the Martin Houston Show with Martin Houston and X's and O's Sports, Xavier Houston.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier, powered by Box Eye Care. I know it's a little ways out, but go ahead and save the date. The date is 12/3/24. Live to Lead, an event I am bringing to Tuscaloosa. The Martin Houston Speaks Division of Empowerment Strategy and Solutions. I wanted to invest in Tuscaloosa and West Alabama in terms of leadership as I begin to seek to serve my community through my gift and blessings of leadership in my new leadership company, Empowerment Strategy and Solutions. We speak, we coach, we train. So I'm bringing this event to town, bringing speakers to town, simulcast event that you would have to pay literally for these 5 speakers. It would be somewhere north of $300,000, most likely, with John Maxwell headlining at the #1 leadership speaker and best selling author, pulling in over 6 figures. Malcolm Gladwell of The Tipping Point, 6 figures. John Gordon, best-selling author and keynote speaker, rated top 3 in the last year in speakers. Michael Jr., a comedic thought leader. He'll be the fun part of the day. Great leadership points, but done in a fun way. And Shante Lowe, 4-time Olympian, author, event speaker who overcame cancer to make Olympic. So I'm telling you, it is 5 power-packed speakers, and you can get in if your corporation does it as low as $49 per ticket, and only $70 if you decide to do it as an individual. So table of 8 for $396. So save the date, 12/3/24. 12/3/24. And hey, listen, I want you to hear this as we're talking recruiting. X, we had a big weekend this weekend, but you need to listen to this. Listen to this right here.
I was watching the Washington-Texas game with my head coach, my high school head coach, and he was just saying that Coach Womack, because, he was at South Alabama and they have a pretty good connection. And he was like that they knew each other, Coach Womack and Coach DeBoer, and it just all ended up coming back full circle. But, yeah, we watched that entire game, and I was like, their offense is so explosive. Like, it'll be crazy if I played under something like that then. Next thing you know, I'm here. So,
hey, X, sometimes don't always believe anything hearing that recruiting. Everybody said, man, he had to go back and really talk him into coming back. Did he? Did he really have to go into talking Ryan Williams to come back? Ryan Williams himself just said what, X? He saw that offense and was like, wouldn't it be nice to play in that offense? Let's see how long, and I know we're talking recruiting, we got a couple other topics. Let's see how long it really took Ryan Williams, Alabama superstar freshman, to really...
Your father knows about saving money. Really everything I'm wearing?
Back in touch with Alabama and get back on the trail. Let's see how long it really took, X. How long you think it took? How much recruiting you think Coach did?
I think he gave him a call and said, "Hey, you can be a superstar." And that was it.
Check my options because, Coach Saban had retired. That was my head coach. My receiver coach had retired. So it was just a matter of, making sure. But as soon as they stepped foot off the plane, I was almost basically getting a phone call, and they were on the trail, extremely hard from the jump. So it made me feel comfortable and let me know that Alabama is where home was.
Bam!
and I had not seen this. I had not seen this when I said that. So, yeah, I mean, Coach DeBoer's offense and what you're talking about with Ryan, of course, it's not that surprising to know that this is something that Ryan would have been excited to play in to begin with. So, yeah, not surprised at all.
Yeah, the fact that he said they watched the game. Just think about that. They watched the game and he's like, "Woo, wouldn't it be something?" Well, he's living up to the hype, and we're going to get to the big game, X. But I'll toss it to you. I think we have a couple callers or something. I'll toss it to you.
All right, we have Ryan. Not Ryan. We have Alan calling in on the Empowerment Strategy Solution Hotline, wanting to talk some more recruiting. What you got for me? Alan, you still with us? Going once. Going twice.
Hello.
Hey, Alan, how you doing?
All right, how you doing? Y'all lost me for a second. Well, I want to talk about recruiting. It seems like Michigan may be losing a lot of people because of what's going on up there. So, is it a possibility that some of them guys will flip to Alabama since Michigan are going like they're going right now?
Yes, sir. We've got two of their commits coming into town this weekend, and that's four-star tight end Andrew Olesh and four-star safety Ivan Taylor, the son of former Steelers cornerback Ike Taylor. They're both be in town this weekend, and they're currently committed to the Wolverines.
Okay. Well, I had go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say, and Alan, let this sink in. When did what's his name say he fell in love with DeBoer offense? When he recruited him or when he saw it? Ryan Williams, he said, when I saw it, and so how many kids out there right now are saying, "Man, I wish I could play in this offense." And I think I think if what's his name realized that even the Derek Smith kid, I know he wants to play DB, right, X? Or he wants to play wide receiver?
No, he wants to play wide receiver.
Right. Okay. So it's very possible that he gonna look and hey, listen, if I was a kid like him, you know what I would be doing if I was Derek Smith? You know what my NIL would be? You know what my NIL would be? Coach.
What?
I ain't asking you for money. Let me play offense and defense. Let me be Travis Hunter in the SEC. And if you do that, I'll recommit because I'm telling you, that's where Martin would be. Because if you give me if you give me the opportunity to play more positions, like Travis Hunter is going to be, he may be the first wide receiver off the board or first DB off the board. Who knows which one? But these guys are going to start asking for stuff like that. And I won't be surprised I wouldn't be surprised if there's not a wide receiver or two from Auburn that doesn't try to jump back over this side either.
Oh, I believe that. I definitely believe that. Well, my next other thing was going to be, well, actually two things was, I'm looking at the Alabama Georgia game. To me, not going by individual things, just going by I believe our offense is better than our defense. And I believe our defense is better than our offense. They was in the running game a little bit because they got ETN over there. But I just honestly believe just overall, our defense may do a little bending. I honestly don't believe that they're on break.
No, I think that's how Coach Womack kind of coaches the defense as well. When you're looking at it, we'll have one drive a game, two drives a game where you move the ball down the field. But so far, it's been hard to. And granted, these teams we played aren't on the caliber of Georgia, but I think it's the same approach when it comes through.
But X, when you say teams have moved the ball down the field, they've had to move the ball down the field with 12 and 15 and 17 play drives where they went for fourth downs.
Right.
If we have Georgia in a situation where we give up 2, 3, 12, 15 play drives and they had to go for it on fourth down, we probably winning by more than a comfortable margin.
Right.
Because there's no way that Kirby's going to give us a short field with our offense. So he's not going to take – so Coach Stallings used to always tell us, Alan, he says, go back and look at – and I'm paraphrasing and skipping through a lot, but he used to tell teams do not get but a handful all year. If you take all year, most teams don't have a bunch of 80-yard drives unless they have a big play. Okay? Mm-hmm. Most of the time, he felt like if you could make a team have to drive the field, they're going to either make a mistake, fumble the ball, turn it over, or you're going to get off the field. What has what has our defense managed to not give up this year?
A big play.
Big play.
So if we make teams drive, that's right. And I think that's part of the philosophy. We've given up some third downs and longs and different things like that, but we haven't given up, the 50-yard chunk plays like the defense was starting to give up last year. And Hollywood, the barber, asked, do y'all think Alabama fans wishes they had T-Rob still? And I'm like, no. I haven't missed a coach from this last year's staff. Not a single coach from last year's staff have I been watching a game and going, man, I wish we had him back.
Right. Me either. One more thing I want to say.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, Martin. I want to say one more thing. I've been looking at that guy in UNLV. It's hard to believe that somebody promised this guy a Lamborghini for the simple fact they are a basketball student, and they're not even a basketball student no more. They haven't really done anything since Larry Johnson was out there. Now, Martin, I could believe if they would have promised him something like, I'm going to take you back now, if they promised him something like a Cavalier or a Pro or a Yugo or something like that. But I cannot believe they promised this man a Lamborghini. I'm going way back, so you probably don't know what those are. But but you going with a probe or something like that, or like I said, Cavalier, Yugo or something like that. But a Lamborghini, really, and you're not even a quarterback that nobody.
I hadn't heard the Lamborghini part.
Go ahead, X.
Go ahead.
I hadn't heard the Lamborghini part. I've heard the $100,000 and only getting paid. I think it was $3,000 out of that. But the crazy thing overnight, it's happened to, yesterday, a teammate of his said it's for other reasons, but a running back is deciding to sit out the rest of the season, and a star defensive lineman at USC has also announced that he's going to redshirt the rest of the year and transfer.
My question is, why would a coach take that guy? Why would you take any of these guys out of the portal? See, everybody dogs Dabo Swinney. Everybody dogs Dabo Swinney. There's one coach in college football that has had the guts to stay in the game and say, I refuse to let these kids win. And we can dog Dabo Swinney. But one thing Dabo Swinney has said is, that's an option, but I'd be doggone if you could control it and dictate it. If the other coaches had the same approach and would say, you're not going to play just because you're coming here, but I'll give you a chance. And I'm not going to give you this crazy money over the guys that I've recruited and that have been in my program and that I'm developing. What would happen to the guys going in the portal? When they found their butt still in the portal and guys started seeing guys stay in the portal, but instead coaches are letting the kids win because they keep offering these things. And Alan, this kid supposedly was offered $100,000 by an assistant coach, never got anything in writing, never got any approval, never heard it from the head coach. And he doesn't deny that until lately. And when he came to the head coach said, whoa, hey, this is not the case. But who would want to play with the guy who quit on his team, who is 3-0? Listen to this, Alan. UNLV is having the best season they've had in their school's history. And he's the quarterback there. And he was getting
not a very good one.
And he was
And as a quarterback, not a very good one.
Right.
He completed 43% of his passes.
Right. That's what I was saying.
Yeah, and I'm like, why? He's going to end up back at, and I'm not dogging Holy Cross, he's going to end up back at Holy Cross as an FCS school. Ain't no way in the world I'm a D1 school taking this dude that quit on his team into the middle of a week's practice.
Well, but Martin, you look at it like this, though. I understand what you're saying, but if you were promised something and you didn't get paid, you didn't get what you were promised, I mean, what other alternative do you have? If this coach has told him that, and that's the reason he came there, and all of a sudden you're not honoring up to it, but you should have got something in writing, and you should have got it from the head coach, unless you was going on good faith.
Now that's another point to this. These kids think they're grown. This is the consequence.
This dude is grown. He's a fifth-year senior.
This is my point. This is my point. All of these players are hollering, hey, guys, hey, let me tell you something, Alan. You're playing big boy ball. If you decide, Alan, right now, let's say you weren't planning to retire, but you were planning to take your skills to South Beach, in the words of LeBron, as a truck driver.
Mm-hmm. Right, I remember that. Mm-hmm.
Okay. If you were planning to take your skills to Miami as a truck driver, and they said, Alan, I know what you make now. We're going to give you 50% more and let you work less. And you go, woohoo! And you load up, move all your stuff down there. And you get down there, and they go, oh, the 50% more was really based on the fact that you're going to be working less, and you're going to end up actually making less because you're working less. We just wanted you here, and you got nothing in writing. Whose fault is that?
That's my fault. That's my fault.
Now you have all these kids who are negotiating, thinking they're grown. That's the way the real world works. And if they want to win with the money, and they want to have NIL, and they want to play, and they want mamas and daddies wanting to pay and play, mamas and daddies better get smart and know how to wheel, deal, and negotiate. Because if you were crazy enough to leave your school, if you were crazy enough to leave your school on a promise from an assistant coach, and you got nothing in writing, and then you showed up in August, and you still didn't have anything, and you still don't have anything in writing, and then when you go to the coach before the season starts, and he said he didn't have the authority to do that, that's when you leave, Alan. You don't leave 3 or 4 games in. That's when you leave. And that's what I'm saying. If you want to play big boy ball, you get big boy toys. Sorry for him. Hate it. That's what's going to happen all over America. These young men are going to be taken advantage of because they're asking to be employees without the consequence of being an employee. And hey, listen, nobody's for the players to be paid more than Martin. But there's consequences.
I totally agree with you.
So
totally agree. I totally agree.
Hey, Alan, but here's the question. And we're way over, but I had to finish this conversation. We're way over. Alan, if you're the other coach, do you care whether or not he got in writing? Do you care or do you care more that this kid quit in his 5th year? He's leading his team, he's winning, and he is going to make more money. He was going to make more money than $100,000, Alan, because he was winning.
But you get into this mentality right here, Martin. It's not about team anymore. It's about I instead of me and me instead of team now. And that's what all these kids are doing. That's unfortunate.
Would you take him out of the portal?
I agree. I totally agree. I totally agree. But we're not gonna get it. But our mentality is changed, though. And that's unfortunate for college football.
Yep, absolutely. Thanks, man. Sorry.
All right.
X,
Have a good one. All right.
Take us a break, X. I'm sorry I derailed that conversation. That's
no,
a passion.
I mean, it's something we were going to talk about it anyway, so we got it out the way. But yeah, no, I mean, this is just a crazy situation, and we might dive into it later. But hey, this is the Martin Hughes Show with Martin and Xavier. Catch us on the other side as we continue the conversation about position comparison in this Alabama versus Georgia game.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. Moving with a purpose on the Tuscaloosa freeways and side streets. I only see small delays. Skyline Boulevard on the eastbound lanes to 31st Avenue. You're a little slow in that area. And also, again, right around Hargrove Road. Hargrove on the southbound lanes at Lake Point Drive. You want to watch out for very
couple of days.
Text support to 511-511.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Tax fees may apply.
Welcome back to the Martin Houston Show, the sound of Bama sports. Your show, your team, on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Hey, go check out the venue, Tuscaloosa. Liza's Sweet Shop. Also, Finney's Pub and the home of the second location of Rama Jamma. That's the venue, Tuscaloosa.com. Don't put the venue, Tuscaloosa.com. They have a great variety of food options as well as an absolute awesome atmosphere. So go hang out at the venue, Tuscaloosa. Tell them that Martin Houston told you to stop by. And hey, don't forget, tomorrow is our Free-for-All Friday, powered by the Pharmacy at Midtown. The Pharmacy at Midtown, we'll tell you more about them, but pharmacymidtown.com, pharmacymidtown.com. All right, X, let's get back with it.
Moving forward, we're going to do a little bit of comparison as we kick off the second half. And when you're looking at this Alabama game, Georgia game, you start at the quarterback position. We talked in depth about it yesterday, but if we're gonna lean one way or another, unbiasedly, who you taking at quarterback?
All right, let me see if I can tell you that without telling you that. Let me see. You know, you ever heard him say, "Tell me that you believe that Jalen is your best option without Jalen being your best option"?
Mm-hmm. What you got?
Hold on. I did not click the right audio. Sorry about that. Here's Coach Sheridan talking about what Jalen Milroe brings to the table, X, and I believe this is why you go with this guy.
I typically, just the location of the run, and what's the risk reward and what's the situation. Quarterbacks, you have the ball in your hand. You get hit hard in the pocket too, and so you're mindful of that. You certainly want the health of your players to that's important to you, and specifically at the quarterback position. And you also recognize it's a contact sport, and that's part of the game. And so we factor that in certainly when we're designing the game plan and when to call certain plays and how that plays out in the game. Sometimes it's week to week. Sometimes it's based on your opponent. But I think what we're always trying to do offensively is utilize our players, put them in the best position to be successful. And so that's what we're focused on.
And that's how the reason I played that clip is, listen, what type of game planning can you do with Jalen Milroe versus Carson Beck? Let that sink in. Think about the levels that last year's staff refused to do, the level of game planning that you can do with Jalen Milroe. You can have a run attack with your run game. You can have a play action pass, deep ball, because of your running game and his accuracy. Oh, you can just have a spread them out, stretch the field horizontally and vertically because of him. And when you do that, you create running lanes for the quarterback. You can do a wild card version of an offense. You can do the triple option. You can do RPO. You can do read option. Jalen Milroe, I've heard they're finally starting to say that he is the most electric player in college football, and he's on our team. I'm taking him with this offense that Ryan Williams said, ooh, I want to be a part of that so I can go wild in it. Taking Jalen Milroe.
I can't disagree with you on that. I believe that the versatility that he brings to the game with his legs and just the way he extends plays and makes you have to guard that extra man. It's not 10 on 11 with him. It's 11 on 11, and you got to be wary of him. And as it was said, David Pollock said this. He goes, when you're looking at spying Jalen Milroe, he glides to a 4.4 when your guys are running full speed. He is too fast for the spies in this league. He might not be as refined of a passer as Beck, but his ability to hit the deep ball, and he's gotten better with check downs this year, I think make him a really dangerous component. So I'm definitely leaning Jalen on this one. But we're going to go ahead and get the break. Do we have any sponsors before we leave?
No, yes, we do. Thanks for reminding me of that. I want to encourage you to go to Dixie Battery Supply. DixieBatterySupply.com is where you can find them online, or you can call them at 205-758-9190. Hey, they buy junk batteries. They help you power up any device you have so you never have to feel powerless again. They also bring to you the option to get those golf carts, especially this weekend. You're going to need them to get around Tuscaloosa if you're anywhere close to campus. That's DixieBatterySupply.com.
On the next Inside the Locker Room with Coach Wimp Sanderson and Barry Sanderson.
Tune in Tuesday, 7:30. We'll have J.C. Sherbert. We'll go around the ACC with J.C., brought to you by Yellowwood. In the second hour, Dad will pick his Blue Plate special, coming off a victory in the Tennessee game. Hopefully he will get hot. Plus, we'll take your phone calls throughout the show.
Inside the Locker Room, weekdays 7 to 9 a.m. on Tide 100.9 and Tide100.9.com.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. Regardless of the potential threat of the severe weather, it is not bad traffic-wise at all. We are free-flowing around the area. Let's hope it can stay that way. And let's just hope most folks decided to go ahead and stay home as a precautionary measure. But in the meantime, we've got Lurleen Wallace looking good.
Home Depot. Right now, save up to $1,600 in financing on select appliances with fall savings at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Pricing about September 26th through October 16th. U.S. only. See store online for details.
It's time for the Martin Houston Show. With the same hard-hitting, no-nonsense approach in which he played the game, Martin will take you inside the locker room, down on the field, and across the goal line with his in-depth analysis.
Welcome back in. It's time for the Harvest Church 2-minute warning, but let me tell you a little bit about Box Eye Care. Box Eye Care, taking care of all of your vision needs and more. Comprehensive eye care, laser vision correction consultation, dry eye treatment, diagnosis, and treatment using cutting-edge technology, and now also offering laser skin care. You can find out more about each one of these services by going to boxeyecare.com. And hey, remember, they have all of these great services as well as all of your normal vision eye care needs. Boxeyecare.com. Give them a call, 205-342-0660, or visit them online at boxeyecare.com to learn more. X, we did have some conversation in response about this Georgia time. So we're going to go to O-line, but I think we had a caller come in.
Yes, we've got Josh from Magnolia, Texas is on the line. How you doing this morning, Josh?
How you doing, X, Martin? How are y'all?
Doing great.
Doing good.
These players, the NIL, from what I understand, some of them have agents, and I'm just trying to not
Yes.
all agent is a good agent. So I'm wondering, do the agents have a hand in saying, hey, go ahead and redshirt and sit out because we can get you more money next year? I'm just wondering what your thoughts are on that.
X, I'll let you respond, then I'll be quick.
When I heard this situation, the more that's come out, it is an agent that has gotten involved in this. And so I do think in this specific case, it is an agent that is dictating what's going on.
And here's the thing, yes, and let me explain to you what an agent is. They don't have to have any qualifications. That you can become an agent by applying to the state of Alabama or whatever state you're in and applying to the NFL. They technically can't have the NFL, so now they have these what they're calling agents in the college game, and they're really like a family friend in a lot of cases who puts them out, stuff out. But he happens to be with an agent, and I think this agent here's the thing: when do agents make money, Josh?
When a contract or a deal that's made, right?
When the player makes money,
they get a percentage.
Yeah, and if you're a person that's representing a guy who is only going to be a college player and not going to be a pro player, where do you put pressure on him to get money at? Now. Because in a year, if he plays out and he doesn't get drafted, then you don't get anything. And what do you think these agents do in order to get these players? They give them money up front sometimes. So I think this is as much this agent being the advisor for this family as anything in giving bad advice.
Yeah, I would think you would create more value by playing for yourself than sitting out. But I realize he only has 1 year left. But one other quick one. I know y'all got to go. I'm not that smart of a defensive guy, but I'm trying to learn. Do y'all think Kirby is going to be able to play split safeties? Because to me, a linebacker covering Jalen Milroe would be a mismatch, in my opinion. But do you think he's going to be able to play? I mean, that's just me. I would try to put my most athletic guy if I'm going to have a quote-unquote spy on Jalen Milroe.
I think Jalen's too athletic for a lot of safeties, if I'm going to be honest with you. But to play two high safeties and put a linebacker on Jalen, yeah, that's a huge mismatch and goes in the favor of Bama all day.
Yeah, Josh, and the other part I would throw in there is they already have a liability at linebacker. I think his name is Chambliss, who is a run guy only. And so if they take him out, then the run game is impacted. I think that we're going to see what gave other teams an opportunity and an advantage against Alabama. I think you're going to see that for the first time on the Alabama side of the ball. I think this coaching staff game plan will be to force Kirby to either play more in the box, or if he is playing it too high, we're going to run it.
All right. Well, I appreciate it. Roll Tide, guys.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
Because if you put those safeties back too high, then that just gives, that means you have 9 up front to stop 11.
Right.
Because we have a quarterback that can run the ball.
Yeah, then that's the point I was saying, making it 11 on 11. But to continue the conversation, and we had Peanut Butter Posse, who's a Kentucky fan, who said, pulling for the Tide on Saturday. Dolls looked vulnerable, but maybe Kirby was hiding stuff on tape. And yes, that is possibly true, but you also responded to that. That might have been the case, but they were physically whooped up front on both sides of the ball. So even if they were hiding stuff, they got dominated at the line of scrimmage. And they've had several guys out, and only maybe one of those guys plays this weekend, and Mikael Williams, but he'll be hobbled. They have 3 defensive linemen that might not play or be at full strength for this game. So that definitely gives Alabama the advantage on the offensive line.
Yeah, when you look at O-line, D-line versus each other, I think you give the advantage to Alabama. I think we have for the first time our unit going into the second straight game with the same unit. And we saw the improvement that happened. So I think you see that get even better, especially with Proctor getting an extra week to do even more and build that chemistry back in place. X. Kentucky physically whooped Georgia up front with the exception of number 11 for Georgia outside linebacker, Walker, I think. I can't remember his name. But anyway, so I say that defensively we have more numbers than they do as well, okay? We have all of our guys healthy on the defensive front. And I'm waiting for Otis to have a breakout game. I hadn't seen it yet, but I believe he is coming. And I think we have the numbers there with them having their best offensive lineman out, and Kentucky physically whooped their offensive line. And sometimes you can hide stuff, but you can't hide physicality. I don't care what you do. We've hit stuff too. But if we can't physically whoop the other team, it doesn't matter.
No, and I think that's what you got to look at with this team. I think physically up front that Alabama has the advantage due to as you said, the continuity that we'll have for the second game, but the third week in a row of this starting unit working together while they're trying to patchwork their best offensive lineman being hurt. This would be like Alabama losing Tyler Booker before this game. Is what Ratledge is for them. And so I think that gives Bama's D-line more pressure, especially because we have Quay Russaw, the edge guy that's out. Well, he's going against these outside guys versus LT, the Smith duo, Keenan, all those guys are going to be inside. That's going to be a point of attack, in my opinion, for this team.
Absolutely. I mean, I think in X tomorrow we can do kind of a rapid fire version and compare, because I would even like to get to I want someone to call us up tomorrow and maybe pick the other side and tell us, X, where does Georgia have a clear advantage versus Alabama having an advantage? I don't think that we have that this year. So anyway, great job today, X. Great job today, Chase. Great job, callers, listeners, viewers, and chatters for being a part of the program. We appreciate you. Want to remind you, hey, don't forget to go get your legacy swag. You need to make sure you have it in time for Christmas and for those last few ball games. So go ahead, athletesthread.com/collections/Martin-Houston. And remember this, trust in the Lord always, lean not your own understanding, in all your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your paths. Roll Tide out there, everybody. We'll catch you on tomorrow. For Martin Houston, for Xavier Houston, for Chase Brumfield, and for Box Eye Care, we say thank you for listening to the Martin Houston Show, powered by Box Eye Care. Roll Tide, everybody. We'll catch you on tomorrow.